Hey guys, Joshua Hathaway here. I wanted to shoot a quick preface to this incredible video for you divorcees. Because as a man who spent 13 years with a woman, went through a difficult divorce, we raised kids together, I know what it's like to be on the other side of devastating rupture in relationship. And I know what it's like to feel hopeless about ever being able to to not trust relationship, essentially. Right? What I want to promise you is that on the other side of the grief that you have to be grieving, on the other side of all of those details getting handled, and it will take time and it will be a step-by-step process, and you don't have to wait until it's done, there is incredible relationship available for you. Whatever it is that you want to create in your life, that is available to you. And I know that I made a lot of mistakes along the way. I was super confused. I wasted a lot of energy and I got hurt along the way in ways that, looking back, I realized I wish I would have had some mentorship to help me through. So if you're a man who has been married, is divorced or in the process of divorce right now, and struggling to create the kind of romantic connections that you are ready for and that you really want, I want you to know that this Authentic Dating Secrets webinar is an incredible resource for you. And I can't wait for you to get the experience of these women telling it like it is, of these principles that we've distilled that are going to launch you into a whole nother level of capacity for taking leadership in relationship and for stepping in and creating exactly what you want to create with exactly the kind of women you want to create it with. So without further ado, enjoy the video, and I hope to hear from you soon. Maybe you and I get to have a conversation very soon. Take care.
Well, here's the other thing I would say. When men talk to me, because I just happen to have these conversations more often, but when I have these conversations with men and they're expressive about their desires, there's a level of intimacy and closeness that happens in that space where I feel more called to bring in my own desires as well. And it feels safe for me to bring in, like, I have these fantasies, or I have this desire, or, whatever they are, like, I won't go into those fantasies. I'm going to stop there.
What's up, guys? Welcome to this online training. My name is Joshua Hathaway.
And I'm Robert Schwenkler.
And we're the founders of the Brotherhood Community and Authentic Dating Secrets. And we're so excited to be sharing this webinar with you today on Women Reveal Their Secrets. Now, if you're like a lot of the guys that we work with and we speak to, you want more with women. You want more confidence, more connection, more sex, and not just more, but a higher quality. And you also want these in a way that is 100% respectful and 100% mutual. And figuring out how to do this may be something that has been frustrating for you. It's been difficult, it's been lonely, but today, all of that is gonna change if you stick around and check out these secrets.
So guys, there's a ton of advice out there about dating and about what women want, but have you ever noticed it's kind of ironic that a lot of this advice is created by men? So what we decided to do today is we wanted to go directly to the source. What we've got lined up for you are a few conversations with some of the highest quality women we know. They also happen to be extremely gorgeous. They're going to share with you exactly what has a woman notice one man out of a room full of people and really be magnetized to that guy, or what has a woman fall for a guy within literally just the first few sentences that he speaks. And most importantly, Joshua and I, we're going to break these conversations down in detail. We're going to share how you can begin to have this kind of impact on the women that you meet in your life.
Oh yeah. And I can pretty much guarantee that you've never heard some of these insights we're about to share with you, that these women are about to share with you. Because what we're sharing is nothing like pickup artistry or any of the other weird, inauthentic, scripted, sleazy approaches that are being pushed towards men out there about how to create what they want with women. So prepare to have your dating life transformed with integrity.
Now, we recommend that you're in a place where you can focus 100% on what you're about to learn. If that's not possible right now, I want to invite you to pause this video and actually go to your calendar and schedule 45 minutes where you can watch it with no distractions. If you've got Facebook pulled up, your email pulled up right now, go ahead and just close that right now so you can absorb this valuable information with no distractions. And finally, I want to say there's nothing for sale at the end of this webinar. This is strictly educational. What we're here to do is really open your eyes to the truth about why you might be struggling to have the abundance of female connection that you want in your life and what you can do to have that change. So hopefully you'll forgive us if we forgo any small talk or chit chat. We want to dive right in with you.
So real quick, who is this for? This is for guys who are solid in most areas of their life, but find themselves repeatedly struggling in cultivating the kind of relationships they want with women. This is for guys who are on a personal growth track, knowing the guys who know that it's really about you and you. This is for the guys who want to create results in their dating life like they've created in their businesses, in their personal lives, in their friendships, right? Maybe you're a divorcee and you're confused and overwhelmed about how to get back into the dating world and start connecting with women in a way that feels authentic and respectful, overwhelmed by all the possibilities.
This webinar is also for guys who've tried pickup artistry and maybe you got some good things out of it, or maybe you saw that it didn't actually lead to genuine connection. You maybe even had the judgment that it was unethical or manipulative.
This webinar is also for those of you who may have been raised in a fundamentalist religious background that taught you to be ashamed of your desire and sexuality and taught you to hide away. Because so many of the men who come through our program are guys who are learning how to really embrace their masculinity, their sexuality, and their desire for women. So if you're coming out of a fundamentalist background and coming into more freedom in your life, then this is a perfect place for you.
So basically, if you're a guy who wants to overcome your fear of rejection, be able to confidently approach women in pretty much any situation, and really have an abundance of sexual connection with women, all without coming across as a creep, and doing it in a way that's totally mutual, then you're 100% in the right place. And on this webinar today, what you're gonna learn is gonna allow you to overcome fear of rejection, self-judgment, criticism, shame, and ultimately really free yourself from approval seeking and validation so
you can approach any woman you like and have fun, flirtatious interactions. So you can magnetically draw like-minded women to interact with you everywhere you go. You can permanently eliminate the friend zone from your life, and you can walk in the world fully confident, at ease, and flirtatious with women, and feel that raw aliveness in your life and take it with you wherever you go.
So guys, our promise to you is that if you stick around until the end of the training, here's what's gonna happen. You're gonna understand women so much better. You're gonna understand what makes them want you better than you ever have. And you're also gonna get introduced to the system that we teach our clients, which helps them magnetically and confidently attract like-minded women wherever they go.
And using these secrets that you're gonna learn today, you can build authentic relationships that lead to mind-blowing sex in ways that leave you both better off. Whether it becomes a long-term relationship or a passionate short-term fling, whether this person becomes one of your lovers or it's a one-night stand. Whatever the two of you are mutually down for, you get to create that. And I'm sure you're probably thinking like, these sound like big promises to be making, and honestly, it's true. Because not every guy who watches this webinar is gonna actually get the dating and sex life that he wants. Not every guy who learns these strategies and understands these secrets is gonna get the results.
The difference between the guys who do get the results and the guys who don't is really that they approach what you're about to learn with a beginner's mind, and they take the information that you're gonna get and they take action with it. So real quick, I want to set a couple of ground rules. Number one, for any of this to work, you got to be ethical and respect women. If you don't, it's not going to work. We can't help you. Number two, you got to be a man of action. If you're looking for a miracle button that will magically make you a chick magnet without you having to put in any effort, you're not going to find it here. And anybody who tells you that they have that for you, they're selling snake oil. So who are we? What are we doing on your iPhone or on your computer? Why are we talking about this stuff to you? Well, like we mentioned, we're co-founders of the Brotherhood Community and Authentic Dating Secrets. And basically what we do is we work with men who are ready to take strong, decisive action. These are guys who are ready to up-level every area of their lives so they can step into the bigger, badder versions of themselves that they know are possible inside of their hearts. And all of the material that we teach comes from 30 plus years of combined experience helping guys like you from all over the world magnetically and confidently attract like-minded women wherever they go.
So let me quickly introduce myself. My name is Joshua Hathaway, and I'm here because I'm passionate about supporting men in having the lives that they want. And my journey to the life that I love passed through a 12-year-long marriage in which I raised a beautiful son, and then divorced and had to find myself in the dating world trying to figure it out all on my own. And I have been on this journey of cultivating some of the most incredible, exquisite, beautiful relationships with women that I have ever imagined. And I have that in my life right now, as much of it as I want. And I want this for every man, because when we get this, everybody wins. The way that I live and show up in my relationships with women is a win for me and for them. And so I'm just so passionate about helping men imagine bigger and even more vividly what it could be like to be in the relationship of their dreams, and helping them take the steps to achieve that.
So as for me, I'm coming from a background where for a long time I was in a lot of suffering around how to connect with women. There's Catholic upbringing on both my mom's and my dad's side. There's a bunch of sexual trauma all up the lineages that never happened to me directly, although it has happened to clients that we've worked with for sure. Fortunately not me. And the impact, the end result was that I was super closed down with women. I literally was so ashamed of my sexual desire that I wouldn't let myself look at a woman. I thought I was objectifying her simply by being attracted to her and looking at her. I was super closed down. I felt super disconnected from women, from being able to create sexual or even emotional, intimate connection with women. And through these secrets that we teach men, these authentic dating secrets, my life is totally different. I've had the opportunity to see lovers all around the country, even all around the world. I've had the opportunity to just go really deep into sexual experiences with women, some amazing romantic experiences with women. And I'm at a point in my life where I'm being super selective about who I want and what I want, realizing that, simply going out and having all these experiences with women just isn't cutting it for me anymore. So it's really brought me to a place where I feel super grounded in who I am. I'm able to have easeful, flirtatious interactions with women, at the coffee shop, at the grocery store, just, pretty much wherever I go. And the secrets that allowed this for me, same ones that we're going to talk about today in the video, we're super excited to deliver them to you. So what I want you to do is pay really close attention, guys, because a lot of what you're about to learn is actually the dead opposite of what most guys, and probably you, have been taught when it comes to women and dating. So with that, I want to introduce Lily. And Lily, in this video that we're about to show you, helped us overturn one of the biggest myths of female sexuality of all time. Here's Lily. I'm curious to hear about your experience as a woman and as somebody who works with women, your experience of other women also. So I'm going to give you kind of a loaded question. Do women have a little bit or a lot of desire in general, sexual desire?
Women have a lot of sexual desire and desire in general. We just need a safe space, and we need a space that is free from agenda, free from demand, free from attachment, to allow it to fully come out and fully be present. We walk around in a world that it has been predominantly not safe for us to be in our desire, to be in our sexuality, to be like in our turn on. But when we're in a safe space, then we can fully inhabit it and embody it. We want to be able to swim in it in a way, savor it and explore it. And we can really do that when we feel safe, and that safety comes from that place of you owning yours without some kind of needing to get something with it. It's like harnessing your own desire energy without it kind of like harnessing you and controlling you. We really, really, really want you. We really, really, really do. And we're longing and craving and excited for you guys to show up.
Wow. So what's the key takeaway from this conversation, you guys? Bottom line, women have a lot of sexual desire. She doesn't need you to turn her on. She needs to feel safe in order to unleash that innate desire in her. How do we do that? Well, the fact is that guys typically fall onto one or the other side of a beautiful tightrope. On one side, There's the guy who's super vocal about what he wants, aggressive about it, and overtly expects women to respond to him. And this is the pushy, creepy dude, right? On the other side, we have the guy who's ashamed of his desire, who's terrified of rejection, and who just sits there inside of himself, paralyzed when he's in the presence of a woman who he's attracted to, right? So curious which of these two archetypes you identify more with. Are you the pushy, aggressive guy, or are you the quiet, sort of internally frozen dude who is just terrified to talk to women? And now the middle way that we can walk between those two extremes is what we call desire without demand. And when you unshame your own desire, when you can share your desire as aliveness and as a gift and as just a fact, like, wow, I have this desire, this is what I want, without expectation, then she is left in full choice and informed about whether she wants to consent to that or not. Right? She gets you. And the fact is that she feels your attraction and desire before you ever say the words. And so when you explicitly express it, everybody can relax because it's on the table now instead of underneath the table where it's hiding out doing some weird shit. So this is a critical thing for you to master. How to embody and express desire without demand. And when you do that, when you're able to do that, you get to enjoy your desire as aliveness in your body without feeling ashamed or like you have to shut it down or hide it. And women get to enjoy your desire too, whether or not they want to collaborate with you on anything sensual or sexual. And your anxiety about sort of your feelings and your relationships gets replaced by a sense of ease around women. And women can't help but open towards you because they trust you. You become trustworthy when you're honest about what you desire and you're not pushing or obligating them to any kind of response.
Stephen is one of our clients. I was chatting with him about his love life on Messenger, and he was talking about this woman that he had started seeing. So I started asking him a little bit more. And he says, yes, I don't feel super different, but something different is definitely happening with one woman that I had a really good intimate dance with. After the dance and without much lead up, I just kind of blurted out that I noticed a desire to kiss her. She suggested that we go for a walk, and 30 minutes later we were making out. Not much later than that, we were back at her place, smiley face. So this is what's possible when you're able to express your desire without demand. Just put it out on the table, not requiring or obligating her to any particular response. So our next video for you guys is with Hannah. Hannah's gonna talk about what it means to try to give a fuck, not try to get a fuck.
It's like when you go to the grocery store when you're hungry. The grocery store is not safe for you when you're hungry. It's not safe from you. You're going to decimate that grocery store. You're going to like take everything off the shelves. If you go to the grocery store when you're full, you can like respectfully select what you want. And that's the other thing. I guess selection is really important. When a man is starving to death, I'm like, oh, cool. You want me because I have a vagina, like, and then a man who's full comes and wants me. He wants me in particular. If you're telegraphing that like scarcity mindset, it's like, I want any one of you, anyone that I could like, what's the weakest herd member? And then I'm like, wait, am I the weakest herd member? Is that what's going on here? Like, you're just trying to like,
yeah.
And then like, what does that say about me? Like, sorry, I don't want to be seen that way as like an easy target. Cause you need easy targets, right? Mm. Like I want a man who's like, that's the hottest girl in here. I don't want every man to think I'm the hottest girl in here. I just want the man who thinks I'm the hottest girl in here to say something about it. Mm. I have this like huge, enormous fire in me, and I'm walking around this desert world with like scrub brush. And if I let a spark fall, it could light the whole world on fire. So I'm really careful with my desire. And then there are some men like you, like Joshua, like every man at the end of your training that feel like this lush green oasis. Here is a safe place for fire. Bring your fire in. And then I can just like pour that fire out into that space and know that it's not going to light the world on fire, and know that it gets to just like heat us both up and like give us this like delicious, rich, safe experience. That's what I love about men who own their desire, because we have a lot of it. Women have a lot of it. and know where to put it. It just makes it okay for that to be my desire. You know, and it's not like, what, you slut, you want to be on your knees? It's like, what, you slut, you want to be on your knees?
Cool, guys. So how was that for you? And what's the key takeaway from this video? Well, the key takeaway that we want you to get from this video is that scarcity repels and abundance attracts. Scarcity repels, abundance attracts. And on one level, that might seem really intuitive and obvious, and it's like, cool, Robert, well, how the hell do I do that? So let's talk about that. So let me ask you, who would you be more drawn to hang out with? Are you going to want to hang out with the guy who's asking for spare change on the street and he's constantly wanting things from you? Are you going to want to hang out with the guy who's joyfully handing out free sandwiches on the street and saying, hey bro, I've got something for you, let me come give this to you? The answer is pretty clear, right? It feels good to hang out with people who are in a giving state. So what you need to do here is realize that you're either showing up to get something or you're showing up to give something valuable to somebody else. When you show up from a place where you just feel full inside, you're able to recognize that your presence is a valuable gift that you can offer the women in your life without demanding anything in return. When you own your value, you walk the world knowing that you have something of value to offer everybody around you. And this is one of the fundamental principles that we teach men in our Authentic Dating Secrets, is how to own your value.
And how to own it, not just at an intellectual level, but to embody the ownership of your value on a daily basis. And there is nothing more inspiring than getting out there and being generous. And I want to tell you a story about generosity that came back around to me from a gorgeous woman that I know. And Camille reported to me that one of the men who came through our program had been sharing his admiration of her beauty. And she was telling me that normally that would like feel uncomfortable and overwhelming, and like she might feel like she needs to defend against that or set up a boundary or something. But in this case with this man, she was just like, there's something about the way that he does it that feels so nourishing. And I want you to really recognize this capacity to be generous with your attention and your energy. And the more generous you are in the world, the more you give freely and offer appreciation of women and share yourself with them, then the wider the legs of the universe open just a little bit at a time for all of us, because we create a safe space for women's desire to come forth. When we're coming from this state of abundance, you become generous, you feel joyful, and that is like catnip for women. You become relaxed and at ease in your body and naturally confident, and you realize that rejection is an illusion, and you become excited to connect with women. The only question is, if I'm feeling a sense of scarcity, like how do I go from this sense of scarcity to a sense of abundance? Well, hopefully you're gonna get some clues from Noname, who is smoking hot and is going to tell us all about the single most attractive thing to women.
What would you say is the difference between confident and cocky?
It's a fine line, I think. When somebody is cocky, they come across to me as somebody who's really arrogant, somebody who's not secure in themselves because they're having to overdo it. Men that are confident, I find, are more relaxed in their state of being. Like their posture, even the way that they hold themselves in the space physically, is present and strong, but it's not trying and they're not forcing, they're just relaxed in it. And that's probably one of the sexiest things. I will notice somebody like that if I walk into a space and they're just calm and they can be present with me and they can own their value and their confidence and look me in the eyes and not be fumbling over themselves, but speak in a way that is deliberate. You know, I think eloquence is probably one of the sexiest things in the world, and it doesn't come from rushing through and stumbling over things. It comes from taking a moment, breathing, looking a woman directly in her eyes and like holding her gaze. And I need a man who I can relax into and fall into. I mean, and that's something that is, I think, more attached to range. You know, a man who has range in his internal landscape and in his energetic space. It's like I can feel that my animal body can feel that and it detects it. And so they don't have to even say anything. I can feel that in their presence. And it allows me to just unfurl and move into the space of, oh, okay, I can just relax into you. And it's not feeling safe on a very surface level, like, oh, she needs a strong man so that she can feel safe. No, it's more like, if I don't trust that someone's going to be honest with me in their being and in their sexuality and in their presence and in their depth and in their shadows, if I don't trust them to do that kind of work, and if they're not somebody who's going to do that, I'm not going to feel safe to unravel and unfurl.
Guys who get support from other guys.
I'm immediately more interested. They seem stronger. There's more appeal there for me. There's more depth. There's more range. I'm more interested in talking with them because of the kind of work that they're doing. And there's something different again, it comes down to me as a very feeling space. It's very energetic. So I can feel the strength in their connection, in their brotherhood, or whatever you want to call it, but I can feel the strength in their connection, the way that they talk about the connections that they have with other men, the permission that it gives them. And I find that permission that they get inside of those circles translates over to the way that I get to connect with them.
Thank you, Noname. So what's the key takeaway here, guys? The key here is that when you are relaxed in your state of being, you'll get noticed instantly in a room of people. Your relaxed, confident presence and your curiosity are essential nourishment for women that they will seek out and find in a room, right? But how do we do this? Just be relaxed and confident, right? How many times have you heard that and just felt trapped and confused? Like, well, duh, I know that that's what I'm supposed to be, but I don't know how to do it. So let me make it incredibly simple for you. Confidence is about being relaxed, and being relaxed is simple physiology, all right? It is a equation. A plus B equals C. It's mathematical. You just need to know what A and B are. So let's try an experiment. I want you to hunch your shoulders over and tilt your head down and collapse your sternum. And as you do this, tighten your stomach muscles and breathe really shallow. You're exaggerating this posture. And I want you to notice how you feel. How do you feel all hunched over like this, breathing shallowly? Do you feel anxious? Do you feel sad? Do you feel hopeless? Feel that. Now, roll your shoulders back, tilt your head up, lengthen your spine, take a deep breath in through your nose. Lift your heart up and exhale through the mouth. 2 more like that. In breath through the nose. Shoulders back and down, heart up. Exhaling through the mouth. Now, how do you feel? How does it feel to straighten your spine, deepen your breath? Clear? Relaxed? Confident? Now, what I just shared with you is just a tiny part of a whole system. If you can get that kind of a state shift in 1 minute, imagine what you can get over a consistent program of processes and experiments that help us to get into a state of physiological confidence, as well as to carve out the limiting beliefs that we have in our minds and emotional bodies so that we are ready to fully embody ourselves in relationship again and again.
So this is just one little part of the full training that we guide men through. And this training, the 11-week Authentic Dating Secrets program, it's based upon 3 fundamental principles that we've actually already covered in this video. Number 1 is understand her world. That was one of the very first things that we spoke about, which is that idea that women have a tremendous amount of sexual desire, and it's just locked in there. All that they need in order to let it out is simply to feel safe, right? We spoke about that with Lily. Second principle of Authentic Dating Secrets, desire without demand. Desire without demand is when you have unshamed yourself, you're in full approval of your desire, you're not making it wrong, and you're able to just put it out there on the table and say, hey, this is what I want. How does that land for you? You're not obligating anybody to any particular response. And a man who is unhidden is super attractive to women. Time and time and time again, we hear this from women more times than I can count. And then we spoke about own your value. That's the third principle here, right? We talked about that with Hannah, that when you learn how to own your value, you begin to become a giver, not a taker. And when you're in a state of giving, you become magnetic to women. It's the sexiest thing on earth.
So these principles are the backbone of the system that we teach our clients. Our clients learn to embody these principles at a deeper level than they ever imagined possible. And when they do, their relationships blossom. For instance, Sean came into our program broken. He was suicidal from a brutal divorce that had happened just months before we met him. He was completely panicked in his nervous system every time we put him in a situation to be around other people and women interacting with them when he started in this program. And here is what he had to say midway through the Authentic Dating Secrets program.
Wow. Unbelievable. Absolutely incredible. Honestly, at this point, I'm a loose cannon. I got phone numbers from 6 women. 2 of them contacted me, and I asked the Tantrika out at the event. So,
never in my wildest dreams would I think that I could or would do those things a month ago. No, like that's not even possible. Fucking forget it. And to have it go so well, just like, wow, this is really amazing. And also learning about myself, like, yeah, I have a fairly high bar about the quality of the experiences I want to have, and being more present, being more joyful. I've had very profound changes in my internal experience since the beginning of this program.
totally life-changing for me. So if any of you guys are considering it, stop considering it and commit right now, because it's awesome, and it has implications and impacts far, far beyond the arena of dating. Anything having to do with business and leadership and inspiring people, get into this and get on it, because it's awesome. It's really, really good work. And no, I'm not getting paid either. I'm just enthusiastic about it because of my experiences.
That's pretty amazing, right? And I want to emphasize that Sean went from a really dark place in his life to that literally in just a period of months. This was only after we were working with him for a few weeks, a handful of weeks, that some of the clips that you just saw he filmed. He was ready, and he grew exponentially. And maybe you're ready at this point. Maybe you've gotten some valuable information around these pillars of this system that we teach. And maybe you're ready to go out and get some dates, right? Now that you've got the system, you can go out and meet women, right? Well, maybe. But I want to share that the number one mistake that a lot of guys make is thinking that just because they understand the information that we've given them, they feel inspired by the content, that they can go out and just apply it successfully and be swimming in women. But you know what we find out happens with most guys is that they go out and they keep doing exactly what they've always done, and they keep getting the same flaccid results. Because let's face it, guys, nobody has ever really gotten better at Kung Fu after just watching a Kung Fu movie, right?
Right. I mean, imagine if Rocky just sat in front of the TV watching boxing videos to get ready for his big fight. Like, not only would that make a horrible, boring ass movie, but we all know that results come with practice. Muscles grow with time under tension. Habits are only built by repetition, and habits are what change our lives. And if you're like me, some of the best scenes in the action flicks are when the hero is training hard and learning how to use his superpowers. Because men thrive on challenge and growth when they believe in the cause. And you better believe your sex life is a worthy cause, and you can get the results that you want with practice. But you don't have to do it alone, man. Rocky had Mickey. And guys who get the right mentorship and show up for the work are able to do astounding things. They overcome their fear of rejection, self-judgment, and criticism. They overcome the addiction to shame, and they free themselves from approval seeking so they can approach any woman they want and have fun, flirtatious interactions. Now, Whether or not you end up going on a date with a woman you flirt with, flirting with a woman is fun. It's fun for everyone. So it's not just about the results, it's about the process. Remember that. And guys who are overcoming their fear of rejection are magnetically drawing like-minded women to interact with them everywhere they go. They are permanently eliminating this thing called the friend zone from their lives. They're no longer putting themselves in the friend zone. They're fully confident, at ease, and flirtatious with women. And they feel that aliveness just emanating into every part of their lives, their work, their friendships, their play. And it just gets better and better.
I can't emphasize enough how important it is to get a coach, a mentor, somebody who can help you embody these secrets, and somebody who's going to help hold you accountability to taking action. So you can get off the couch, apply these principles in the way that I know is possible for you, so you can go out and meet women in a way that really feels respectful and in a way that's authentic to who you are. The right mentor is going to help you see the blind spots that have been keeping you stuck, frustrated, and then they're going to help you overcome them in far less time than if you're trying to figure it out on your own. So let me ask you, over the past 12 weeks, how many women have you asked out? How many dates have you gone on? Are you having as much sex as you want? And has it been exactly the kind of sex that you want? Basically, I'm asking, are you not just satisfied, but are you fucking ecstatic about your sex and your dating life? Now, if the answer is anything but an enthusiastic hell yes, then you need a coach.
How many more amazing women are you gonna let slip through your fingers because you didn't make that move? How much longer are you gonna let your fear of failure, your fear of rejection, your fear of being humiliated keep you from having the deep, satisfying, emotional, and sexual relationships with women that you desire? How many more nights are you gonna settle for jerking off instead of taking a gorgeous woman home with you? How many more beautiful women are you gonna creep out because you don't have your neediness and validation seeking and fear of rejection handled? And how long are you gonna watch your friends get the girls, man? Have the sex and have the relationships while you stand by, feeling lonely and left out?
So if you're over it, then you need more than just a roadmap, which we've given you here in this webinar. You gotta seek out some mentorship that you trust. This is somebody who's achieved what you wanna achieve and who provides world-class support helping other men achieve those outcomes and whose values align with yours. It could be us. It could be somebody else. I don't care who it is. You need a mentor. You need somebody to help show you the path, overcome the obstacles, and hold you accountable to taking the action that you want to take. And one last thing that you need to know about getting mentorship, and this one's a ringer, is that simply by working on yourself, you elevate into pretty much the top 1% of men in the eyes of most women, at least in the eyes of quality women. Because by putting yourself in community with other growth-oriented men, you instantly become more attractive to women. Talk to me a little bit about what happens for you when you meet a guy and say there's some level of connection. You may not know exactly what it is, but there's some level of a spark and a connection, and you're getting to know him a little bit, and he tells you that he invests in himself. He invests in mentorship. He does his own personal work with other men. You just told me with that.
Yeah, that's like, that melted my panties right away. I'm like, it's really good. Melts everything off. Yeah, if I just meet someone that like moves him to the top of my list very quickly. If I feel a little bit of attraction, and we're having a conversation about the work he does, that he's passionate about doing coaching and taking care of himself. Because I've noticed a lot in the coaching realm with a bunch of teachers, sometimes we don't always get help. Like when I'm at this level, the men that I know, sometimes like, I don't know, but it's not always a popular thing to get help for themselves, but more focused on other people to do like the nice guy thing of let me take care of other people. But when a guy who's like doing the work in the world, but also doing the work on himself starts talking about that, I'm like, okay, that there's no word for it. I can't get enough of that person. Like I want to be around that person. I want to learn from that person. I can trust that person because they have accountability. and structure, and they're building their confidence, and they're looking at their weak spots. And that means I don't have to. Like, I don't have to feel like I have to be accountable to making sure that they're growing and they're taking care of themselves. And they don't attach that to me. They don't make me feel responsible. So when I'm not in that role, it's like so fucking hot. I can like enjoy myself simply because he's taking care of himself, and I don't have to be his mommy and do it for him.
He's not putting it on you.
Right. I don't feel responsible for his feelings, but he's going to be honest. He's going to tell me, well, that might not have felt great, or that felt good, which is great. But I never feel like I have to change anything in order to make him happy. He has his built-in happiness, but that built-in happiness only comes from doing the work with other men.
Melting panties. I couldn't have said it any better than Maria says it. You working on yourself makes you sexier. Period. We get it. But now you have a choice. We're going to get real with you here. We've shared some really important principles with you here today. The guys who embody these principles are having the kind of relationships you want. But you can know all the secrets in the world, and they won't do you any good if all you're doing is sitting on your couch, brother. So right now, you have a choice. Either keep doing what you've been doing and likely continue to get the results you've been getting, or take action now. As we've suggested here, the disappointing results you've been getting in your dating life boil down to a failure of action in moments of opportunity. If you're ready to reclaim your life from analysis paralysis and embody your fearless potency as a man, then we have a simple, concrete action you can take right now to create the sex and romance you're craving in your life.
So what we've done, Joshua and I, we've set aside some time over the next few days to speak with you personally. Because on this webinar, we've given you some new ideas in broad strokes, but every guy's situation is a little bit different. Your situation is going to be a little bit different. So here's what we're offering. What we want to do is spend 30 minutes crafting a personalized strategy that you can follow to immediately start up-leveling your results in your sex and dating life. This is called an authentic dating strategy session. So this is an opportunity to leverage the powerful system that you just learned to confidently build romantic and sexual relationships with women, ones that are based on authenticity and integrity.
Now, whatever your challenges are, however unique or alone you think you are, it doesn't matter. Maybe you're like, guys, I haven't gone on a date in 3 years. Or Robert, I'm in my 30s and I've never had sex with a woman. Or Joshua, I'm in my 40s or 50s, I'm divorced, and I'm freaked out by the prospect of getting back into dating. I just want to crawl into my turtle shell. Or maybe it's, I just feel broken and hopeless. Like nothing will ever work for me. Something is fundamentally wrong with me as a man. If you've ever thought any of the things we just mentioned, here's the thing. We've worked with hundreds of guys. Seriously. We've seen all the issues, and we've walked men from those issues into their most beautiful life. Many of them felt hopeless when they started, and looking back from where they are now, they are ecstatic and in a state of awe. But there's one thing that every single one of those guys had in common that you may or may not actually possess. They took action and went after the thing they wanted. They believed, even if just for a moment, that they might be able to get what they want with women, and they took one simple action. They made an appointment. They started a path for themselves.
So we're offering you this authentic dating strategy call. You'll get to sit down with either Joshua or I. You get to choose for 30 minutes. We're going to help you create some next step forward in your dating life. And what's the cost? Nothing. We're not charging any money for these. It's absolutely free. There is a catch though. This authentic dating strategy session is not for everybody. This is not for guys who constantly consume new information but then do nothing to put it into action. You've got to be hungry. You got to be committed to your inner growth and to mastering your dating life. You need to be proactive. You need to be willing to receive guidance from an experienced coach and then go out and take immediate action with it. You got to be ethical. We spoke about this before. You need to have a genuine desire to relate with women from a place of integrity, honesty, and authenticity. And you gotta be ready, man. You need to be ready to invest the time, money, and energy it takes to get the results that you want with women. And you need to want that now.
So I'm sure you're asking yourself, what's the catch? Why are these dudes trying to give me something for free? What are they getting out of it, right? I'll tell you what I get out of it. I get a sense of meaning. I get a sense of powerful contribution because I give a fuck about men. I care about men's health and their relationships, and our relationships are an essential part of our health. And honestly, I'm sick and tired of guys having the tools to get what they want and not implementing them. And so, because I know that with the right adjustments and the right tools, you don't have to spend another lonely night in your own bed wishing that you were with somebody, because you're gonna have what it takes to have what you want. Now, that's why we offer these sessions, to support guys in thriving. And this is your opportunity to get personal one-on-one mentorship with myself or Robert. I'm gonna be honest with you. If at the end of the session, I think that you're a good fit for one of our paid programs, I'm gonna let you know. I'm gonna invite you to invest a little deeper if it's something that feels like a fit. Because I follow the same principles in my business that I teach in dating. I own my value. I know exactly what my work is worth. And it's honestly priceless. You can't put a price tag on the transformation. I share my desire without demand. I'll tell you exactly what I want without any obligation or expectation.
So here's what I want you to do right now if you're ready to take some action. To sign up for a session with us, go ahead and click the button that's right beneath your video. And if for some reason you don't see the button beneath the video, you can go ahead and go to your browser and just type in AuthenticDatingSecrets.com/talk. You're gonna go to that link, and what you're gonna see is our calendar. The calendar is gonna open up. It's gonna show you all the available appointments that we have for the next few days. And you just choose whichever time that you want. You fill in your name, your email, your phone number, and you're gonna get information about how to log on to the video meeting at the time that you choose. And I wanna say, this is gonna be a really awesome experience. It might be one of the best experiences you've ever had talking about your dating life. Guys come onto these calls and they leave super clear. They leave really empowered. They leave truly knowing that they can take some steps to improve their dating life, and they see the path in front of them. It's like the doors just open up.
Drew was one of those guys who really wanted it, wasn't sure he could have it. But he overcame that moment of resistance, and he went ahead and booked a consult with me. And it turns out that Drew had been raised in a religious background that really prohibited his sexual desire, just shamed him so badly. So he had traffic inside of him when it came to connecting with women. He's a good-looking guy, financially set, super intelligent, and he just again and again would just crumble around women who he was really attracted to. He was capable of settling for women who were like so-so, but he knew that there was something bigger and better for him. And he dove in. And over the course of his work in Authentic Dating Secrets, he overcame that shame. He overcame the sense that sex means taking, and instead really started to embody what it meant that his desire is a gift, and that he could keep giving, and in the giving of that everybody wins. And by the end of the journey, Drew had a dozen women that he was engaged with romantically at any one time. He was having sex with multiple women every week. And all of them knew who Drew was and what Drew was about. And they were a hell yes, because he was a man showing up attuned, connected, honest, owning his desire and owning his value. These women felt safe, and they were so willing to share Drew because it felt so good to be around him. Drew gets to be really picky. He's decided to sort of narrow in on a few of these women, but he got his dream in spades, which is to have all of the access that he wanted, all of the kinds of relationships with so many different kinds of women, so many different flavors of connection and sexual encounter. And from that place, he's getting to be a much more picky chooser when it comes to dropping deep into that long-term committed relationship that he really wants.
So go ahead and click on the button on this page, or if you don't see the button, you can go to AuthenticDatingSecrets.com/talk, book a call. Let's get on the phone. And I want to say that if you're going to do this, you should do it right now because spaces are limited. There's a lot of people listening to this presentation. There's only 2 of us. And if you get there first, you'll get first choice. My name is Robert Schwinkler.
I'm Joshua Hathaway.
Thanks so much for being with us today. We'll talk soon. Click the button to sign up for a call and stick around. We have some more bonus interviews for you.
So guys, we're gonna share Nadia's story with you because we just can't help ourselves. It's such a perfect representation of exactly what we know is possible for you. So check this out.
So actually, I feel so grateful to get to say this, but this was on Friday. After a long period of not being approached by anyone in any okay fashion. But just on Friday, I had a really great, very surprising encounter just at like a big group gathering, a group dinner, and had this man who I may have otherwise not particularly noticed come up to me and instantly and very confidently start flirting with me. I don't know if you want me to get into like more of the like details or what exactly you're fishing for, but I will say that, you know, the overarching energy was one of just complete like ownership and confidence. And it came from, you know, someone, I'm going to be super fucking honest, like I sort of was not necessarily looking at as like, oh yeah, you're a hottie. And the second he did it this way, I was like, oh, hello, who are you? And I want to know you. I felt really desired. I felt really alive. He just was very playful and just, I felt really seen. I felt like there was one point where I was just sharing something about food that I love. And I guess I'm someone who like, when I get really passionate, I like, you know, I'm very Mediterranean. I use my hands a lot. And I'm speaking about like eating like mangoes from Egypt and papaya from like Bali. And I was just like getting really into it. And I guess my hands were doing all the things. And he just looked at me and was smiling. And I was like, what? And he's like, I could watch you talk about food forever. To me, that was like hot, sweet. And I don't know, it was like all the things. I was like, thank you for seeing me, you know?
Wow, right? And FYI, the 2 of them ended up dating for months and getting into a very serious, very beautiful relationship. This is the deal. Guys who master these secrets have this very effect on women. And what I know is that a lot of you are listening and thinking, but I'm not attractive enough, I don't make enough money, I'm too broken, I'm too depressed, I'm too anxious. And we have news for you. That's exactly what is holding you back, that voice in your head. And I'll never forget this. Watching my kid learn how to walk was one of the most astounding things I've ever experienced. Babies just do it because they don't know that they can't, right? Seeing a toddler just barely standing on 2 feet after crawling is just amazing. It's an amazing thing to witness. And they don't just learn to walk one day out of nowhere. Babies go through a long process of, you know, learning how to roll over onto their stomachs and then slowly scooting across the floor and then crawling and then lifting themselves up onto things, right? And if the babies had the mental chatter that you do in your head when it came to women and dating, if they had that mental chatter about walking, they'd never learn to walk. None of us would ever learn to walk. The secrets we're outlining here are the backbone of a unique step-by-step systematic solution to the mental chatter and the physiological panic that's holding you back from what you want. But first, you have to be willing to stop letting the excuses and hopelessness freeze you in your tracks. You have to be willing to believe in yourself. You have to be willing to say, I can do this. I know I can have the kind of relationship that I want. And I know that it's this step-by-step process. And that just like a baby can learn to walk, I can learn to do this. And let's be honest, if babies were only ever around people who were crawling, it's unlikely they would ever learn to walk. So I want you to ask yourself an honest question about the kind of guys that you've surrounded yourself with. Are you surrounded by guys who are walking and who are down to reach out a hand and support you and give you some guidance around walking when it comes to relationships with women? Or are you mostly surrounded by guys who are crawling themselves and haven't really gotten to that point where they know how to initiate and have an awesome relationship with a woman? That's the value of getting mentorship. That's the value of getting into a community of men who are committed to the same things you are. Guys like Robert and myself and the other mentors in the program who have achieved the things that you want to achieve. Surround yourself with those kind of guys and you're going to get more of what you want. And what we've outlined here today is a proven method that men use from going to underconfident and lonely to relaxed and abundantly connected. And once you start to really get these secrets, once you start to really apply these secrets, then success is inevitable as long as you keep taking action in moments of opportunity.
Go ahead and click the button that's right beneath your video. And if for some reason you don't see the button beneath the video, you can go ahead and go to your browser and just type in authenticdatingsecrets.com/talk. Go ahead and sign up beneath for your strategy session, and we have a few more interviews for you. Stick around. For the guy who's struggling around dating and connecting with women, especially in the era of Me Too, he's feeling unsure about the safety of his desire. He's maybe feeling unsure that even women, if they even want men. And to the guy who feels scared to strike up a conversation or to invite a relationship to the next level of sexual connection or romantic connection, and he's just lonely and he's living in fear around that, what would you have to say to that guy?
Yeah. One, definitely get into brotherhood. Get support with men and from men who are like really in integrity, like the work that you guys are doing. And two, be curious with women. I've had some men come up to me on the street, strangers come up to me and say, like, I saw you and I just had to come and say hello, and maybe you might be interested in coming out on a date with me. And those men, like, and the way that they did it in that kind of just like open, curious, like way, I was like, wow, I really appreciate your your confidence and your curiosity. And thank you for approaching me, and I'm actually not available or whatever it is, but I really appreciate you. And
it still feels good.
It feels good. And the more you can just ask, and ask from a place of curiosity of like, wow, I'm feeling desire for you. I'm really attracted to you. Like, I'm really enjoying this conversation. I just had to come over and speak to you. And I'm curious, like, where you're at in your life, and just be curious and own your desire, but you don't have to, you don't have to hide it, and you don't have to throw it at us. You can just be like, wow, I have this, and I'm curious, how this feels for you to receive it.
Go ahead and click on the button on this page, or if you don't see the button, you can go to authenticdatingsecrets.com/talk.
Yeah. That was so fucking good. Okay. My bad. Now we're rolling. So you can occasionally enjoy it when. Yes.
I enjoy being approached by men when I can feel that they're both inhabiting their desire in a way that's truthful. Like, they're not trying to hide their desire from me, but they're also inhabiting their heart and their presence. So it's like, I don't want a guy to come up to me and be all like, hi, it's nice to talk to you, and trying to kind of like hide their masculinity or sort of like apologize for the fact that they have a cock or something. Like, I want them to be like, hey, like, here I am, like fully inhabiting this being that I am, and I'm also right here with my heart, and I think that you're incredible. It's like just like having that full, I want the full range of impact there. It's like I want to feel all that together.
Yeah.
Then it's like, even if I'm not attracted to the person, or I you know, maybe I'm busy, I'm with somebody else, or I still kind of be like, well, thank you so much. You know, it's like I'll appreciate I think that in general, women like to be desired, but we like to be desired by people who are able to inhabit it in a upstanding, integrous way.
Honest and in an integrated way.
Yeah.
And even an interaction that isn't necessarily welcome or desired up front becomes like a gift. It's just this little gift, a little energetic, like, boom, here you go. Like, oh, that was lovely, you know?
Yeah. Or, you know, somebody making a compliment, just I'm at a coffee shop or something like that, and someone just being like, wow, you're just radiating today. Whatever. Not even like a, hi, my name is, here's my number, or like, are you single? You know, none even of that. Just like sharing a compliment, sharing a acknowledgement of like, wow, I'm impacted by you.
Beautiful. And any like really clear turnoffs for you when it comes to a man making an approach, a cold approach?
Women are pretty darn smart. You know, like, we're pretty intuitive creatures. If someone is trying to like put on the thing, it's like usually doesn't work. I even have lovers who I've had for a number of years who there'll be times when they try to kind of like put on the sexy act, and I'm just like, oh, come on, don't play that game with me. But it doesn't work, right?
Right. Performance is pretty transparent.
Yeah. When I feel someone is able to be comfortable enough in themselves to just kind of like show up with who they are and bring it on, and then, like I said, even if I'm not personally interested in pursuing the connection, I'll still just be like, oh, wow, that was just sweet and nice.
Sign up just beneath this video for your authentic dating strategy session and stick around. There's more interviews.
If you had the opportunity to whisper in a man's ear, and there are many of these men out there who are feeling lonely, they're feeling a bit hopeless and powerless around having the courage to initiate interactions with women for fear of being a burden or of being rejected, what would you say to these guys?
I just like feel my heart opening right now just thinking about that. That we need you, we need your desire, that you're perfect, that if a woman has her own stuff come up, to not let that shut you down, to continue to have the courage to lean in and to share your pleasure and to share your desire with the world, with others. We need you, we fucking need you. And that's the pain from the Me Too thing. It's like, the pain is like from all of that, men have now shut down. Please. We need you. Fucking need you.
Book your authentic dating strategy session by clicking the button just beneath this video. Here's your next interview. This next question is not at all a loaded question. Do women have a little or a lot of sexual desire?
So much. In fact, I was recently listening to a podcast where they were talking about how women have generally more, like they have a lot more sexual energy than most people receive, and even more than men. And, I think that the only reason that it might come across as not that way is just like it's an old paradigm that comes from women having to be muted and not being allowed to embody their full sexual energy. if I don't trust that someone's going to be honest with me in their being and in their sexuality and in their presence and in their depth and in their shadows, if I don't trust them to do that kind of work, and if they're not somebody who's going to do that, I'm not going to feel safe to unravel and unfurl, because I'm somebody who is in touch with my sexuality, and I'm somebody who has conversations, and agency in my sexual exploration. And to not have somebody be in touch with that or be present with that doesn't allow me to feel safe, because what it seems like there would be a million hidden landmines that we're going to come across together in that space. And that doesn't feel safe to me.
One of the places where I would imagine that you end up tripping into a lot of wires is where a guy feels like he needs to hide or obscure his sexual desire.
I hate that. Yes, I'm using the word hate, but I just detest it. It's sneaky. It feels sneaky, and I feel lied to, even if I'm not, like that withholding. It makes me feel like and I can feel that there's something that's not being said that's there. And yeah, so it feels creepy and lying, and I can feel like there's something that's being hidden intuitively, and I don't know what it is. So because of their not being as open with that, I also, in order to protect myself, I think it's just a protection mechanism where I'll keep myself kind of more guarded as a result. And when there isn't that sneakiness and there isn't that hiding, it's on the table. He's not placing, yeah, I see that on your face. He's not placing demands on you, but he's just in ownership of his sexual desire and his desire for you. Oh, yeah. Well, it's one of those things that's felt. Like I can feel that. I can remember one of the last times that I felt that with somebody who I had just met, and it was a partner that we ran into each other at a party, and I met him, and it was just his presence, and I felt all of the lights turn on, like all the switches, everything is green, lights go, because I felt that about him. Also, I will say, somebody who is not afraid to explore and talk about sex and be able to express their desires to me. When men talk to me, because I just happen to have these conversations more often, but when I have these conversations with men and they're expressive about their desires, there's a level of intimacy and closeness that happens in that space where I feel more called to bring in my own desires as well. And it feels safe for me to bring in, like, I have these fantasies, or I have this desire, or, whatever they are, like, I won't go into those fantasies. I'm going to stop there.
Hey, you made it through the end of the interviews. Thanks so much for sticking around. Hope that you got a lot of value out of it. And if you haven't booked your authentic dating strategy session, go ahead and do that now. We look forward to talking with you.